Good evening and welcome to News Tonight, where we get you a roundup of all the important news and events from across India and the world. I am Tina Jha. Let's begin with the headlines of the day. Global community must unite to completely eradicate terror networks and their financing, says Prime Minister Narendra Modi after his summit meeting with South Korean President Moon Jae-in. Both countries agree on cooperation in infrastructure development, media, startups, and combating trans-border and international crime. President Ramnath Kovind addresses 18th anniversary celebrations of Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu's Swarna Bharat Trust, underscores use of technology to improve quality of life for those living in villages and toil on farms. Vice President Naidu urges youth to devote time, money, resources and ideas for the less fortunate people. Two suspected Jaish-e-Mohammed terrorists nabbed from Uttar Pradesh Deoband town in Saharanpur district. Anti-terrorist squad officials identify one of them as a recruiter for the outfit and the other as a grenade expert. Pakistan kept on the grey list of the Financial Action Task Force. Global terror financing watchdog gives it time till June to take steps to curb money laundering and terror financing. And at least 30 people, including 7 women, die after consuming spurious liquor in Assam's Golaghat district. Nearly 50 others hospitalized. Chief Minister Sarbanand Sonowal orders probe. Seeing the convergence in economic and strategic fronts, India and South Korea have decided to further strengthen their relationship for mutual benefit and balance of power in the Indo-Pacific region. Both countries have decided to enhance the mutual trade up to $50 billion till 2030 and will also work together for peace in the region. They will also cooperate to fight against terrorism. Our correspondent Akhilesh Suman brings us this report. On the second day of his state visit to South Korea, Prime Minister Narendra Modi held a summit meeting with South Korean President Moon Jae-in. 6 agreements and MOUs were signed after the meeting that lasted 2 hours at the President's residence. The agreements were in the fields of cultural cooperation, highway construction, cooperation against transnational crime and terrorism, mass communication, startups, trade, energy, space, among others. India will also release a stamp to honor the Queen from Ayodhya who went to Korea.
हमारे द्विपक्षीय व्यापार को बढ़ाकर $50 बिलियन तक ले जाने के लक्ष्य के प्रति अपना कमिटमेंट दोहराया है। इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, पोर्ट डेवलपमेंट, मरीन और फूड प्रोसेसिंग, स्टार्टअप्स और स्मॉल एंड मीडियम एंटरप्राइजेस जैसे सेक्टर्स में हम अपना सहयोग बढ़ाने पर सहमत हैं। हमारी बढ़ती सामरिक साझेदारी में रक्षा क्षेत्र की अहम भूमिका है। इसका एक उदाहरण भारतीय थल सेना में K9 वज्र आर्टिलरी गन के शामिल होने में देखा जा सकता है। रक्षा उत्पादन में इस उल्लेखनीय सहयोग को आगे बढ़ाने के लिए हमने डिफेंस टेक्नोलॉजी और को प्रोडक्शन पर एक रोडमैप बनाने के लिए भी सहमति की है। हम आतंकवाद के खिलाफ अपने द्विपक्षीय और अंतर्राष्ट्रीय सहयोग और समन्वय को और अधिक मजबूत करने के लिए प्रतिबद्ध है। आज भारत के गृह मंत्रालय और कोरिया की राष्ट्रीय पुलिस एजेंसी के बीच संपन्न हुआ MOU हमारे काउंटर टेररिज्म सहयोग को और आगे बढ़ाएगा।
South Korea has relaxed group tourism visa regulations for Indians. Both nations will also frame a roadmap of joint production of defense equipment in India in defense corridors in Tamil Nadu and Uttar Pradesh. Prime Minister Modi said Korea is best suited to be a model of India's development.
ईस्ट पॉलिसी और कोरिया की न्यू सदर्न पॉलिसी का तालमेल हमारी स्पेशल स्ट्रेटेजिक पार्टनरशिप को और अधिक गहराई और मजबूती देने का सुदृढ़ प्लेटफॉर्म दे रहा है। इंडो पैसिफिक के संबंध में भारत का विजन समावेशिता, आसियान की केंद्रीयता और साझी समृद्धि पर विशेष जोर देता है।
Receiving the Seoul Peace Prize, Prime Minister Modi said it was in recognition of India's efforts towards inclusive growth and creation of balance of power in the Indo-Pacific region.
This award is a recognition of the philosophy that has given the message of Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam, which means the entire world is one family. The award is for the culture that has given the message of peace even on the battlefield, as Lord Krishna gave the teachings of Bhagavad Gita during the battle in the Mahabharata. I am honored that this award is being conferred on me in the year that we celebrate the 150th birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi. I would like to contribute the monetary award of $200,000, that 1 crore 30 lakh rupees, to the Namami Gange Fund.
This was Prime Minister Modi's second visit to South Korea since May 2015. Both India and South Korea have resolved to consolidate bilateral relations for mutual benefit. Both countries will also work towards lasting peace in the Korean Peninsula and facilitate talks between both South and North Korea, including the United States.
South Korea is bubbling with technology, expertise and knowledge relevant to almost all sectors to India, and those too at cheaper cost and sometimes at almost no cost. But we have to create collaboration, and government has to divide how to create collaboration so that it can be sustainable. Indeed, Prime Minister Narendra Modi's second visit to Korea has given impetus to it, and we have to continue it in future. Akhilesh Suman for Rajya Sabha Television with camera person Suresh in Seoul.
South Korea has also strongly condemned the Pulwama terror attack and promised support to India in its fight against terror. MEA Secretary Vijay Thakur Singh said this after talks between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the South Korean President. Listen in.
President Moon Jae-in strongly condemned the Pulwama attack as a terrorist attack, and he had earlier written a letter to the Prime Minister expressing his support and solidarity on the fight against terrorism. There was also discussion that, and in this context, you would have noticed that one of the agreements that we have concluded with Korea is a MOU on it's on transnational crime and terrorism. So that is one step which has been taken, and that MOU has been signed today. So there is movement and there is the solidarity expressed with India on the fight against terrorism.
The Ministry of External Affairs also said that the two countries have set a target of bilateral trade worth $50 billion by the year 2030.
Prime Minister and President Moon Jae-in had the opportunity to review the entire gamut of the relationship. They laid down the roadmap for the future, and this is all based on a shared vision of people, peace and prosperity for the future. As far as economic cooperation is concerned, you would know that our bilateral trade is 21 billion two ways, and the target that has been set is 50 billion by the year 2030. The whole focus is on seeing how we can push this target. As you know, we have ongoing negotiations on a SICA review and its upgradation. So those discussions will go on and would be a very important negotiation between our two countries. As far as our flagship programs are concerned, Made in India, Korea is very strongly behind the Make in India, and they have invested already. And in today's discussion, there were further interest in Make in India and other areas.
For more inputs on the story, let's go across to our Foreign Affairs editor, Akhilesh Suman. Akhilesh, good evening. Quite a successful visit of the Prime Minister to South Korea, isn't it? Both countries have signed as many as 6 pacts. Tell us about the key areas in which both countries have agreed to step up cooperation.
Six agreements, are just symbolic, but cooperation is much more deeper, and understanding goes beyond these agreements, Tina. Okay. What is more important that the type of confidence that has built between India and, South Korea is tremendous. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit just after 4 years, it symbolizes that both the countries have realized that they can be, much more, deeper friends than they were earlier. And that is why the understanding has reached in almost all areas. And, I'm telling you one major thing, that earlier we had arrangement of Quad with Australia, US and Japan. And South Korea has virtually proposed to create a trio of India, South Korea and Japan in this region. The three Asian powers, South Koreans want that the three should collaborate and cooperate in each and every sector, including defense, development fields, economic cooperation, everything. Because that this whole region feels that some sort of threat from Chinese monopolistic attitudes, and that is why South Korea has also come very close to India as far as also investment is concerned, because South Korea wants to see India as an alternative to invest in. And though South Korea has increased its investment in Vietnam and Indonesia, comparatively very smaller countries, but they want a big market and big democratic country like India to invest further, so that there can be a stable relationship between the two countries. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit and the whole dialogue with President Moon Jae-in, we could gather that yes, that confidence has built, and it is going to be long-lasting relationship between the two countries, given the fact that both need each other. India needs South Korea for its own development, employment generation, and South Korea also needs India for further, investment opportunities. And
Certainly.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has given, words to South Korean President that yes, we have facilitated and we are going to facilitate you in almost all sectors that is possible. And he had also said that at least 700 billion investment opportunity just in infrastructure sector. So sky is the limit, and the way South Korea wants to invest, cooperate with India, India will be ready. So I think this is very important and very successful visit as far as investment opportunities, trade cooperation is concerned, and also strategically both are quite in agreement as far as co-production of defense equipments are concerned. And defense equipment co-production is done only when you have confidence over each other, and that shows that we have confidence in strategic fields also. Tina?
Indeed, Akhilesh, and that's why, both countries have set a target of bilateral trade reaching $50 billion by the year 2030. Akhilesh, many thanks for joining us with those details. Moving on in the bulletin, President Ramnath Kovind attended the 18th anniversary celebrations of the Swarna Bharat Trust, which was founded by Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu in the year 2001. The President hailed the trust for its social work in the fields of education, healthcare, skill development and farmers' welfare. He also visited the ancestral home of Vice President Naidu in his native village. Rajkamal Rao gets us this report. President Ramnath Kovind and Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu attended the 18th anniversary celebrations of Swarna Bharat Trust in Nellore on Friday. In his address, President Kovind said that the Swarna Bharat Trust drew inspiration from Mahatma Gandhi's Back to the Villages slogan.
Gandhiji had spoken of the need to develop villages with amenities appropriate for a dignified and simple but prosperous life. In this regard, and in our endeavor to enhance the quality and dignity of life and work for those of our people who reside in villages and toil on farms, technology can be a great enabler.
Lauding the social work being done by the Swarna Bharat Trust, founded by Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu, President Kovind said it is the responsibility of every person to give back to the society. He praised Swarna Bharat Trust's emphasis on the use of science and technology and innovation in helping rural communities.
Wherever you are, please always have a mindset to give back to the society in whatever manner and whatever way you can afford to give to the underprivileged students, underprivileged people, poor people, those who are in need. I am glad to learn that the Swarna Bharat Trust too emphasizes the use of science and technology and of innovation in helping rural communities. I am confident that with the blessings of our Vice President, this noble work will continue.
Vice President Naidu said that the Swarna Bharat Trust is working in the fields of education, culture, health, skill development and agriculture. He said the primary focus of the trust is women empowerment.
Another area of trust has been imparting vocational training in upgradation of their skills, educating the farmers on new farming techniques and cultivating alternative crops and training the artisans to be self-employed are part of the wide range of activities the trust is undertaking. शिक्षा और संस्कृति देके बाद में कलेक्टर के द्वारा गवर्नमेंट के द्वारा उनको नियर बाई गवर्नमेंट हॉस्टल में भर्ती करवाना ये भी एक काम है इसको कहते हैं ब्रिज स्कूल.
Addressing the gathering, the Vice President said that skill development is another major area of focus. He also said that the trust runs bridge schools to educate poor children or school dropouts.
Guided by Mahatma Gandhi's dictum of back to villages and his profound view that Rama Raj is incomplete without Grama Raj, the trust has been working relentlessly to empower and uplift the downtrodden sections by imparting education and upgrading their skills. The number one objective is to empower the woman and also by giving them livelihood skills. That is a major focus of this trust.
Ahead of the event, President Kovind visited Venkatachalam village, the native place of Venkaiah Naidu. After spending some time at the Vice President's ancestral home, he visited Akshara school run by the trust and also interacted with the students. Established by M. Venkaiah Naidu in 2001, the trust now has chapters in Vijayawada, Amravati and Hyderabad. It works mostly in the area of rural development with thrust on healthcare, farmers' welfare, women empowerment and skill development among the youth. With inputs from Rajkamal Rao from Nellore, Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. Home Minister Rajnath Singh has urged the ASEAN countries and the international community to support India's fight against terrorists and their organizations. Delivering the valedictory address at the 4th India-ASEAN Expo and Summit in Delhi, Rajnath Singh said an environment of peace and security are prerequisites for trade and commerce to flourish. He added that the summit must acknowledge the fact and ensure that the soil of any country should not be used for propagating terrorism. Condemning the Pulwama attack, the Home Minister said that there exists immense potential to strengthen and deepen cooperation in combating terrorism in all its forms and manifestations, violent extremism and radicalization through information sharing, law enforcement cooperation and capacity building, as well as anti-money laundering and countering terror financing.
We urge the international community and our friends from ASEAN present in this summit to support our fight against terrorists and terrorist organizations. Friends, an environment of peace and security are prerequisites for trade and commerce to flourish. This summit must acknowledge the fact and ensure that the soil of any country should not be used for propagating terrorism.
In the aftermath of the Pulwama terror attack, the Supreme Court has directed Chief Secretaries and DGPs of 11 states to take prompt and necessary action to prevent incidents of threat, assault and social boycott of Kashmiris. A bench headed by Chief Justice Ranjan Gogoi directed that police officers who were earlier appointed as nodal officers to deal with incidents of mob lynching would now be responsible to deal with cases of alleged assault on the Kashmiris. The bench also asked the Ministry of Home Affairs to give publicity to nodal officers so that they can be approached by those facing such incidents. The Apex Court was hearing a petition seeking protection for Kashmiris living across the country amid reports of harassment and attacks following the Pulwama terror attack. And in an encounter in Baramulla district of Jammu and Kashmir on Friday, 2 militants were killed. Acting on specific input, the security personnel launched a cordon and search operation in the Warpora village of Sopore in North Kashmir. The search operation turned into an encounter when the militants fired at the search party, who then returned fire. The identity of the militants is yet to be ascertained. Restrictions have also been imposed in the town to maintain law and order. And 2 alleged Jaish-e-Mohammed terrorists have been arrested from Deoband in Saharanpur district of Uttar Pradesh. According to Director General of Police O.P. Singh, the 2 were posing as students and were involved in recruiting for the terror group. They have been identified as Shahnawaz Ahmad Teli from Kulgam and Aqib Ahmad Malik from Pulwama in Jammu and Kashmir. They were arrested on Thursday night in an operation headed by IG Anti-Terrorist Squad Asim Arun. The ATS also recovered a .32 bore pistol from each of them with cartridges. Jihadi chats, videos and photos were also recovered from them.
इनके कौन और भी साथी हैं, कौन इनके एसोसिएट्स हैं और क्या-क्या इनकी एक्टिविटीज़ रही हैं और कितने लोगों को इन्होंने रिक्रूट किया है, जिसके बारे में भी हमें जानकारी नहीं मिली है, लेकिन इस पर भी हम वर्क करेंगे, इसको फर्दर डीपली इन्वेस्टिगेट करेंगे। और सबसे बड़ी चीज़ है इसकी टेरर फंडिंग कौन कर रहा है। सो फंड के बारे में भी हम चाहेंगे कि हमको वो रहे और मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट थिंग कि इनका टारगेट क्या हो सकता था। तो इन सब चीज़ों पर फर्दर हम इन्वेस्टिगेशंस करेंगे और यही कारण है कि मैंने पुलिस कस्टडी रिमांड लेकर और इनको हम कोर्ट में प्रोड्यूस करने के बाद हम पुलिस कस्टडी रिमांड लेकर उनसे फर्दर डिटेल्स लेंगे।
In a huge tragedy in Assam, at least 30 people, including 7 women, have died after consuming spurious liquor at a tea garden in Golaghat district. 50 more people are undergoing treatment at various hospitals. More than 100 labourers at Salimar Tea Garden are believed to have consumed the spurious liquor on Thursday night. 2 people have been arrested in connection with the incident. Expressing concern over the deaths, Assam Chief Minister Sarbanand Sonowal has directed Upper Assam Divisional Commissioner to inquire into the incident and submit a report at the earliest. The Central Bureau of Investigation issued a lookout circular against former ICICI Bank CEO Chanda Kochar on Friday. Her husband Deepak Kochar and MD of the Videocon Group, Venugopal Dhoot, have also been barred from foreign travel along with her. This lookout notice comes a week after a case was registered against Chanda Kochar, Deepak and Dhoot. They were accused of being involved in a corruption case. It was reported that during the tenure of Chanda Kochar, 6 loans worth 1,875 crore rupees were cleared for the Videocon Group. The loans were issued in the alleged violation of laid down policies and regulations of the bank, causing a loss of 1,730 crore rupees to the bank. International Terror Financing Watchdog FATF condemned the Pulwama terror attack at its plenary meeting that concluded in Paris on Friday. The FATF said Pakistan has not done enough to curb the finances of terror groups like the Jaish-e-Mohammed and Lashkar-e-Toiba, and that's why it decided to continue the grey listing of Pakistan. The FATF continuing Pakistan with the grey listing means downgrading of the country by multilateral lenders like IMF, World Bank, ADB, EU, and also a reduction in risk rating by Moody's, S&P and Fitch. Pakistan has time till May this year to complete its action plan to address its strategic deficiencies. If the country does not meet the targets by October, it could be blacklisted. The FATF blacklist means the country concerned is non-cooperative in the global fight against money laundering and terrorist financing. If the FATF blacklists Pakistan, it may lead to downgrading of the country by lenders like International Monetary Fund, World Bank, Asian Development Bank, as well as the European Union. Pope Francis has said the world expects concrete measures to tackle child sexual abuse by priests and not only simple and obvious condemnations. At a summit to discuss the scandals that have rocked the Roman Catholic Church, the Pope said the cry of the little one seeking justice had to be heard. He offered senior Catholic leaders 21 proposals to punish predators and keep children safe, and also warned that the faithful are demanding concrete action and not just words. The tone for the high-stakes 4-day Vatican summit was set at the start, with victims from 5 continents, Europe, Africa, Asia, South America and North America, telling the bishops of the trauma of their abuse and the additional pain that the Church's indifference caused to them.
The 21 points given to us by the Holy Father this morning are very important because, first of all, they are a roadmap for our discussion. They are very, very concrete. And so it's an understatement to say that they have to be taken seriously. That's an utter understatement. We're going to discuss those, and even if there are things that have not been discussed enough, they're going to be part of the follow-up to the meeting.
And that's it from us in this bulletin. Thanks very much for your time.